ISIS and oil. ISIS controls a large area in northern Iraq and Syria. ISIS's main goal is to restore caliphate that will combine parts of Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon into one Islamic state. They are financing themselves by selling between $1 and $4 million worth of smuggled oil per day. If you take a look at the map over here on the right, it will show areas that are controlled by ISIS. The areas in gray are areas that have remained in ISIS's hands throughout 2015. So ISIS had controlled them before 2015, and at the end of 2015, ISIS still controlled them. The areas in red are areas that ISIS lost during 2015. And the areas in green are territories and areas that ISIS gained during 2015. So, a very important question is, where is ISIS's oil coming from? Well, most of ISIS's oil is coming from the oil fields in northern Syria. The Al Tanak, Al Omar, and Al Tabqa oil fields are a few of the biggest producing fields for ISIS. Once the oil is extracted, it is processed through makeshift refineries and loaded onto tanker trucks, where it is shipped to Syrian-Turkish border towns, usually to be auctioned off to the highest bidder. If you take a look at the map on the left here, the black diamonds and triangles and marks show areas where ISIS has oil fields and refineries. So, a very important question is, if ISIS needs to sell this oil, how does ISIS get the oil out of their own controlled territories? Well, ISIS transports the oil from the fields to cities near the border of Turkey. The oil is often transported in large convoys, with usually 70 to 100 trucks being involved in a single convoy. The oil is driven to towns like Zaku, Iraq. Places to meet outside the city are agreed upon in advance by phone. Once the oil arrives, it is met by potential buyers in more empty oil trucks. The oil is then auctioned off to the highest bidder. In one spot, the buyer will pay between 10 and 25% of the oil's value in cash on the spot. The loaded oil tankers are then handed over to new drivers who have the proper papers to cross the Turkish border with the oil. ISIS's oil prices. Some believe that ISIS is the main responsibility for the economic crisis that the majority of petroleum companies are facing right now. ISIS is selling the crude oil from their fields at a lower price compared to the official market price. This is causing other petroleum companies all over the world to have to drop their prices in order to compete with ISIS's prices and to still sell oil and make some money, even though it is a much smaller profit. ISIS's prices range from 10 to 45 US dollars a barrel. If you take a look at the graph on the left, at the peak area in between June and July, that area is when the threat of ISIS started to emerge. As you can see, soon and quickly after that, the prices of oil rapidly dropped as ISIS gained control of territories that had oil fields and started to produce oil and sell oil at low prices. The oil's journey through Turkey. Once the oil crosses into Turkey, it is driven to the town of Silopi. Once the oil arrives there, it is delivered to a man known by the name Uncle Farid. Uncle Farid is an Israeli-Greek dual national that has the proper documents and companies necessary to receive and reship the oil legally. He uses his licensed import-export business to make deals with smugglers transporting the oil from Syria and with companies that will export the oil to Israel. ISIS then uses the money they make off of this oil trade to fund their terrorist organization.